Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Well, before we get to that Truck Series Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to see the main course and the main feast. We are here at Michigan International Speedway for the final time this season as we will rail them out for the Global Strategy Team Next Gen Cup Series this week. So the final time this week, in this case here, ready to rail them out and pull them onto the track. This should be a good one here on PT Race TV. Hello everyone, I am the Crusader Christian Strive, joining you guys here today. Getting ready for our action up ahead here. Many drivers coming to the stage, many looking to play the game. On the outside for this one though, it'll be Tyler Dalton, your number 1 seed with the 15 Joe Hudson. Row number 2 is going to be Scott Simley in the 7. The outside in the 87 is Steve Ritter. Row number 3 will be Ricky Utting in the 2. And the big outside, 993, it is Bud Shearer. Row 4 in the number 6, it's Cameron DeRue. The outside in the number 10, Ryan D. Cook. Row number 5, Ryan's out with Ron Holyfield in the 11. The outside in the 4-4, Christoph Hall. Row number 6 is Alan the Wild Man Wild in the 22. The outside in the 24, it will be Cody Sturgill. Row number 7, Pilots with the 42, Dakota Kramer. The outside, the number 12, Aaron Action Jackson. In row number 8, it'll be the 9 of Bobby Wetzel on the outside, and the 8, Maurice Bonnet. Row number 9 will be Charles Van Schaik, and the number 23, the outside of the 18, it is Philip Schmitz. And finally in this one, row 10, final start of the field, the 36 is Richard Crane. Your field of drivers now set to go here. 120 laps to the distance. Stage number 1 going to lap 25, stage number 2 on lap 60, and then the final stage going to 60 laps to the distance, 60% fuel, 3 additional tire sets, 4 in total, 1 on their sets now, 3 in the back just in case I may need it later. No quick repairs, 2 green white checkers, that's all you get. This is a wild one. This is a shootout, to say the least, to see who will be able to rise to the occasion and rise above all else. And it's time to find out just exactly how much and how crazy it will get. The field of drivers now lined up into position and now ready to for Le Mans down to the track here and onto the brigade. Off the distance through corner number 3 and 4. Dalton leading him down. Hudson right in the mix with Simley behind. The field ready to reel it down to the Global Strategy Team. Next Gen's restart zone. As we bring them down here, the Next Gen Cup cars are in action in Michigan. 120 to the distance. First set of turns definitely going to give these drivers a little bit of trouble. They're going to really give them a lot to think about. Opposition faring well though. Field marching their way around. The 93 of Butcher going outside, looking in immediately down 3 wide. Though Kramer on the 42 jumping it right off there as we see the number 22 of old down Wild Man Wild, trying to hunt him down on the back and trying to hunt him on the bottom. Corner down right off turn number 3 and 4. 3 and 4. We then send him down to 1 and 2, and a beautiful corner off there with a 3 wide salute in between Bobby Wetzel, Kramer, and Christoph Hall. Now back into 3 and 4 with another one. 4 deep. Ryan D. Cook at the Budweiser number 10, trying to get a little runoff or two, but no dice there. Tyler Dahl in your race there here. Scott Simley and Ricky Udding right now trying to patrol to the front. We knew it was going to be fast out of the gate. We knew this was going to be a tough one. Control and stability high on the mark. 199 to 200 mile per hour speeds. And drafting here, not going to be the easiest telltale. Matter of fact, you asked me, this is actually going to be the toughest track for them to actually get a good little draft off. This is actually going to be a lot more difficult than it looks. Into the wall goes the number 6, Cameron DeRue, and that opens the door up with some shaking and baking from Shearer and Udding. Shearer getting right behind Udding and almost really just shake and bake crossing over that 6, but DeRue able to keep that speed in the Fast No 6 right under control. The Heineken number 7 Ford Mustang of Scott Simley got a win to his name already this season, looking to bring another one to the table. But Tyler Dahl and the Sim 500 crew are already trying to jump right along and trying to keep speeds at hay and trying to keep the power up. The hardest part about this is, again, keeping the power and the speeds at your fingertips and at your will, and then understanding the limits of your car and understanding how far in depth they will go. There's a lot of breathing room, but there's a lot of area for mistakes, and they know it. Thinking of driving into mistake territory though. Cody Sturgill trying to get the bottom lane and pick up a little bit as he brings the Spice Balls number 24 into the stage. Lingers that right around down the outside though. He is keeping a pretty good distance as the 18 of Philip Smith's trying to hang with him. Every time I've tried to talk anything good about Cody Sturgill, he's had nothing but curses be thrown at him. He's been taken out by my voodoo dolls apparently. He's also been pretty much given the driver's curse, if you will, when in terms of everyone just kind of ganging up on him at the last minute or the last second and something happened to where you couldn't really do nothing about it. So really at this point, he's just hoping for a break and hoping for an opportunity to at least finish in that podium or that top 5 box, I would say. That'd probably be his goal today. Oh, it's big and again in control there. Bobby Wetzel slammed there on the side, down the back stretch. There goes Wetzel, the Sim 509, for a little ride and a tumble on the back. Well, the rest of the field is going to be thrown into a caution and trouble there for the number 9. Bobby Wetzel, one more look at it from the replay. 3 wide salute leads to this. But then by Global Strategy Team, here is your PT Race TVS replay. Looks like the air pulling around the current just kind of drove Hall off a little bit. Hall may not have had the clear spot there. I believe, honestly, that might have been a spotter error too. So having that speed and that power and then that spotter saying clear, that was definitely not a clear spot. It looks like Maurice Burnett actually jumping right in front. That was what initiated the caution. So had Maurice Burnett not been where he was at, that caution would not have flown. Which I guess you could say is a break for Wetzel. Maybe not so much for everybody else, though. We'll see how they handle themselves from that little situation. I'm honestly very interested to see just kind of what really tolls off these drivers and really gets them squared up with that. So the field now got to double up again here to restart. Stage number 1 still. Tyler Dalton, your race leader here so far. The SEM 519 camp has been, just for lack of better words, guys, it's been just pure dominance. They just come out here. He himself just came out here as well. And seemingly just without merit, without issue, without trouble, seems to just completely nullify and take on control and take over the speeds there, while at the same time trying to make sure everything works in its favor. And you can just see that pressure and all that work being put to good use. So right now, currently the field getting squared up here for the restart. Double file them in. You can see the pace car alerting them that we're going to have one more lap to go, it looks like, and everyone else ready to go for it. Field now that's got the picture, and they are ready. Once more here, race fans, this could get very, very interesting, and this could get very wild, to say the least. Once again, we're about to find out that the hard way or the fun way, depending on how you want to look at it. Off the distance here to the Global Strategy Team, restart zone. Green flags back on out at Michigan. Dalton knows that restart is extremely important, because what that does is it levels the gravitational field out, and it levels the friction of the car, separating him out from the distance. frankly, it forces everybody else to have to drive a little harder just to catch him. This isn't like the trucks or Xfinity where you can slingshot. These cars are more meant for the wear and tear and how you steer and control the corners. You can say that's a good thing, you can say it's a bad thing. All really hinders on what your beliefs are and what your thoughts are, but either way, you still have to get at least some kind of draft pushed up to get to the other field and the other drivers. And Dalton's aware of that. It's just not as important as hitting your marks and hitting your corners like you would back at, like, say, an auto club, or even, I would say, probably want to lump in a really good one that really has a high volume of speed and power while at the same time having to use the draft. Kansas Speedway is a good one. Ryan D. Cook, number 10 right now, kind of staying in low, trying to make sure he can find another hole to go to. But at Budweiser 10's left all alone, and you can see drivers now, looks like they are going to try to manipulate some of that draft line. And again, they do this to try to increase the airflow around the cars, not necessarily just to draft, but also they're trying to get as far away from that dirty air as possible. Again, we talk about how dangerous dirty air is with that 550 horsepower package that was ran a long time ago. With these cars, they're running it at a 670 horsepower with that 40-inch spoiler in the back. So that spoiler, it does make it a little bit more difficult to kind of steer and keep the car in check. But at the end of the day, what it does is it forces everyone to really hammer down and make some big moves and some big risky shots, obligating themselves into the right frame of mind, into the right shot, call their move. Hot shot right off turn number 2, though. Cameron DeRue making the jump up ahead. The fast little number 6 is trying to make... Oh, wait, hold on. It's not DeRue. I'm saying it wrong again. I'm sorry. Cameron, I'm sorry, man. I already know I've said it wrong. I literally had this whole situation figured out last time, and I had everything set up too. I said his last name wrong, and I finally got reminded, like, here's how you actually say it, and now I'm doing it again. So I am apologizing in front. Okay, so my producers really just popped the video up and reminded me that it's Dario, so not DeRue. Again, I am sorry, Cameron. You can literally find me for this one. It's Dario. I know, bud. I am sorry. I should have just said Cam, but I always say last names usually, so I'm so used to saying it. I'm sorry I miscalculated again. So Dario right now currently battling with Simley and Kramer right behind, trying to get up there to tire Dalton. Again, since that restart, Dalton pretty much just said, bon voyage, my friends, and just kind of left everyone out in the distance and left them out on the gap. Nobody's been able to even try to catch up to him and try to take him down. Well, I was told it was a high-ho, the Dario. This is a high-ho. Let's see where this one goes. On down the bottom lane, there is number 15. That is the USAL, number 50 Ford Mustang of Joe Hudson. 3 deep, and now put together with Shearer. Hold on, keep it clean. Yes, they do. Oh, he's cutting down a little bit there. Careful. Oh my, Ryan D. Cook now jumping up to the front, gets it right into the wall though, off the crossover, and now Shearer right back underneath. That's how easy it is to lose all that speed. One wrong move and you're in trouble. Flying it off the corners though, every driver for themselves and nobody giving an inch here. And frankly, why should they at this point? I mean, they have to figure out how the tire wear will be, how tough the fueling is going to be, and just find really the right opportunity, the right line to strike with. So a lot that goes into it, and there's going to be a lot that really fights these drivers off constantly throughout this race. We're getting such a good look at it right now just by having everyone intervene and intertwine in such a momentous occasion. Philip Schmitz, the 18ers, Interstate's battery machine, trying to stay ahead of the graphs and the baffles, the picks and the sticks, but that's not quite working out in his favor. 3 deep down on the front straightaway as Alan Wild decides he wants to throw his hat into the ring. Hunting backing out, Schmitz getting ahead of him. Wild now moving down low. He's got Bobby Wetzel kind of slowing the 18 up just a little bit, gives him an opportunity to make a move here. Once you cross over like that, all of a sudden, like that rear end again, once the thing kicks out underneath you, you have no speed, no grip. It's even worse than that Gen 6 Cup car, honestly, because it just completely nullifies and changes up your entire trajectory and as well as the line that you were running for that time, that place. Like, it's such a more difficult position. So right now in your field, top 5, Dalton, Simley, Dario, Shearer, and Hudson. That is your top 5. The rest of the field, well, let's just say they're playing whack-a-mole with one another, trying to figure out who blinks and then who misses their mark here. I really don't know how else to put it. They literally have been they rubbed against each other. They bumped each other a little bit. They almost took each other to the wall, and now they've been 3 wide saluting like they literally are on the starting position of the start formation lap. Not a care in the world and not a care to believe, but yet they are still bringing it to the house and bringing it on down to the stretches. Well, here's a guy back here that knows a thing or two about the stretches and the long runs he had to fight with. The Atlanta Motor Speedway's race winner earlier this season, Ron Holyfield. Ron told me earlier today, too, that since that win, he's felt more and more confident behind the wheel, but he knows he is nowhere near done with this kind of trajectory and this kind of battle out. The last time we were out live was Martinsville Speedway. Cameron Dario had absolutely stunned the world and took down some heavy hitters and some tough competition, and he finally got that win off his back. But it was not without having to knock down the 43 of Samuel Harrell as well. Samuel not able to make the call today, unfortunately. We do miss you there, Harrell. Hopefully you will be back with us soon. But Dario definitely right now holding the moniker for Martinsville and putting it from a short track to a big track. As Dalton and Simley starting to close their gap off by a good margin of error. You can see the time zones have changed. Simley being offered a lot of breathing room for Tyler Dalton here over the last 3 laps remaining here in stage number 1. Looks like lap 22. No gain. No gain there. Look, but not much in the way either for Dalton. Very surprising. I am very surprised by this. This is interesting. I'm kind of surprised how far it's kind of cut back a little bit and how that's kind of making its way around. I'm kind of surprised to see Charles Van Schuyten kind of hanging back low as he is right now, although we used to seeing him kind of laid low for a bit. He did do that in the trucks race here in Michigan, which, oh, by the way, this is the guy that won that race there, so there's a guy you want to watch out for. It's probably that one with the big SpongeBob scheme coming at you with a big yellow and Ford Mustang painted up on you. Christoph Hall nearly also getting some wins in this season. Had a couple of opportunities and some golden chances to take it, but just never had the opportunity to really reel and deal everything together. He told me earlier today, if I get a chance or I get another smell of that top spot, I don't care who is in my way, I will take it to the limit. I believe he went to head-to-head there in the trucks race here at Michigan just last Tuesday night. It was a star-studded performance and a wild performance, but these drivers sure put on a caliber X performance there. Ricky Utting and Steve Rutter right now just going head-to-head with one another here on the final laps here. Cameron Dario, you're in the number 6, trying to catch Simley in the 7 Heineken Ford Mustangs. The Mustangs have absolutely dominated here at Michigan. But for Tyler Dalton, stage number 1 is just going to merely be a look into the future in his eyes. Stage points extremely crucial, and positioning very much matters. Dario trying to get a little bit of ground off him, but it's not going to be. Dalton, Simley, Dario finish out stage number 1. And there is our stage winner, the number 19 on Tyler Dalton. He will be the first stage winner of the day. And you heard these drivers say a while back, stage points so crucial. They make the difference, and they make everything work out in its favor. I certainly can contest to that, and I can certainly see now why that is. And now the pressure is on for Simley, Dario, Hudson, and Scherer to get it figured out. And again, if you were just tuning in a little earlier on and hearing me say Giroux by accident again, it's actually Dario for the record books. He proved it at Martinsville last week, and I completely forgot about how to say his name. So I had to make sure I double check and make sure I said it right this time. So the producers pulled up the old broadcast and so made sure to show me in. Kind of got laughed at by a few people, but that's alright. Wild goose chase going for pit road, and Scott Simley is going to be the first one out. Your second out on the bunch, Cameron Dario, Bud Shearer, Steve Ritter, and Aaron X. Jackson. That will be the set coming out of pit road first in the top 5. Now, I'm going to say real quick, though, that could be without its merit here. They only seem to be taking right sides and fuel. Tyler, well, let's just say he took all 4. So Simley and Dario, Shearer, Ritter, and Jackson, they're going to have their hands full. And it looks like Dario going to go back into pit road. So looks like maybe some troubles down there for that number 6 camp. We'll see what happens there for the team. So here we go, race bands now doubled up yet again. We're going to get them back to the green. Green's back out. Stage number 2 on its way. And already I'm very curious to know one thing, which is how much will those 2 tires hold versus a guy with 4? I think I'm about to get my answer in just a few seconds here. Simley and Cher going to move their way across the plains of the field. Jackson, Hudson, Udding going at their game plan here and trying to make their best of their situation. The 15 of Hudson down low. Shoots it right off on the 12 of Jackson and Cher. Hudson, major speed and major power. Well, he got all 4s. So did Dalton. 3 wide again. And Jackson's had a habit about this whole season. Didn't matter if it was stage 1, stage 2, or the final stage. Dalton has had a habit of going 3 wide when you least expect it and taking full control of these races. Hudson trying to get his first slice of the pie as he jumps it right ahead to the Sim 500 camp as well. USAL number 15 of Hudson, so close so many times, now trying to put this one under wraps. Simley falling back, Dalton moving it right ahead. Honestly, I don't blame the strategy used to try to take 2 tires. But you just knew as soon as Dalton took all 4, he was going to certainly be putting on a little bit of a show there. Ryan D. Cook, the Budweiser number 10. He's starting to make some drives here, though. He's starting to get a little going. Kind of wiggled, though, off turn number 2. You got to be careful about that. You don't want the car to wiggle. The problem is, again, if you have any part of that machine get a little too out of shape or out of control, it does not work out in their favor, and it actually hurts them more than anything. Running them down there, Dakota Kramer. Where did Dakota Kramer come from? I wasn't even paying attention down there. Kramer, I don't know where that dude came from. All of a sudden, he now's got the race lead. Hudson made a big mistake down there. I'm not sure. I'm going to take a look at that replay real quick and see if we can get a better camera angle. I completely missed this. What on earth? How did Kramer jump to the front? What on earth happened here? That was a new one. Let's see if we can get a look at the replay. Take a look at it. Here's Kramer. Look at Kramer. That dude didn't just take down 1 or 2. He took down all of them. Look at him. He dropped right off. The OnlyFans Monster Energy, apparently, he showed something on OnlyFans that got Dalton and Hudson's attention. And Kramer then just kind of snuck by as they were looking at that. And he went right for the race lead. That's impressive. That is impressive right there, to be able to cut through 2 heavy hitters like that and take the race lead away. I don't know how long those tires will last because of that move, but a very big, strong run there coming from the Kramer camp. And he's the first Chevy, too, as well, to actually take the race lead away. Everyone else has been in the Ford's camp for the most of this position and most of this race so far. Ron Cox says that number 2 is looking pretty stout today. Ron, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, so far it has. Brett Logue says, good Saturday evening, sir. Brent, it's great to hear from you guys again. Always love hearing our fellow friends and folks coming on board here. Or statesmen and stateside. Unfortunately, though, I'm not in my usual state. They haven't gone to Iowa Speedway yet, so But it is good to hear from you guys again. Well, Scott Simley went from hero to zero and followed from grace a little bit, but not too bad there. Cameron DeRoe, like going a little hi-ho the Dario because he is jumping her up to the front. And a little hi-ho silver on the inside. He is driving a silver car after all, so that Fastenal number 6 makes sense. Ryan DeCook trying to block and guard him off. Kramer right now looking to do the unthinkable and just completely run away with this stage. Thoroughly impressed right now with Kramer and Cook here to be able to take on Dalton and Hudson in such a strong time. Again, their speeds ramped up and their power matching in perfectly the way they needed to. That makes it for just such an interesting dynamic and such a very unique situation. But it seems though Kramer may be fading a little bit. I think that drive may have been a little bit much. You gotta give the man his due, but unfortunately, I always said it once, I'll say it again, you just can't burn those tires up too quickly on long runs. Short runs, yeah, go nuts. But long runs, that's where you play that risk. And here comes Dario to the inside. Although what Kramer did to the boys earlier, now he's got to get a taste of his medicine. Kramer at this point trying to get $5 or $10 vouchers for OnlyFans out there and trying to sucker Dario out of it, but I don't think Dario's falling for it. Either that or he's just trying to stay out of trouble and take the race away so he doesn't have to worry about it. That's up to him in his case, though, as Ryan D. Cook now moves his way right back into position. And Cook, you can hear him actually, he's clutching it in right now. The fuel seems to be a factor here for these drivers. You're probably wondering at home, well, why are they clutching in now? They still got a stage to finish out. Well, that's the problem. They got a stage to figure out. Gotta remember something. They're going to lap 60. They went for 25 laps last time. They were okay with that, but now they've got to go a couple extra lap distances here, so they can't just pound the speeds up, pound the momentum up. Dario, ho-ho! Getting it right up to that left rear corner panel there, but 42, Kramer. And Kramer managing to keep himself under one check and keep himself in pace. But now feels the pressure intervening right underneath him. Oh, look at how smooth he is right off that exit. Very, very smooth. Again, he absolutely has to be too, though. You cannot let these guys get too close and get too vitiated with him. A lot of drivers right now kind of straggling in the back of the pack. Let's go visit some of them right now as we see Maurice Burnett. And then number 8, H-Shock Machine, kind of hanging low with Wild, Brenner Shearer, and Charles Van Schaik. And Charles, again, last time out, feature winner here in Michigan for the GOAT Racing League. Seems to be kind of found himself in a little bit more of an innocuous position, again, with that fuel mileage as well as that run that these guys are putting on. Still got about 18 laps remaining this next time on by. Trailing it back down wide into the gap. Ryan D. Cook trying to outwit Dario. Seemingly no room for error and nowhere to really hide out and really just get trapped in between there. These guys are still going for what they can do, trying to hang in into its speed too. Kramer right now still got a pretty good lead up on the boys, but you can see Cook isn't exactly leaving him alone here. Got a couple tenths on him, but he did gain a little bit here on lap 44. See if we can see what happened on lap 55 here and see if there was a bit of a change up here in this one. There was a 0.2 of a second gain back, so may not seem like a lot to the fans out there, but again, you're running on an oval, you're separated out by mere tenths. It's not road courses where it's seconds, it's tenths. And that is where the trouble and the fights always persist on and makes for such an interesting drive. Those that just don't quite get it or understand it, they really have never actually been behind one of these cars, been behind the wheel on an oval track kind of race or circumstance. And but I tell you, it's wild, it's crazy, it's hard to believe, and I'd be darned to tell you it wasn't fun to do. Coming right around Dalton, currently moving now into the second spot. Has company coming up from behind though. Watch out for Bobby Wetzel. Wetzel's been kind of laying a little bit low here for a time. I think now he's trying to really make a run for it. Again, we saw him earlier on when he was facing the challenges that involved trying to get away from that wreck, trying to get away from that crash that almost sent him back to the shadow realm. It did give him a caution, though, to at least try to hang in there, and it was at least enough to keep him in this race relatively. But, man, since then, he hasn't really been able to do much about it. And that's not a dig at him. That's just kind of the way things are playing into this race. By the way, these drivers on their fast laps were going down 39 seconds. Right now, their last laps, 40s, 43, 41s, and 42 in there. That's where their times are at right now. And again, it's all hindering on just trying not to use any more of that fuel. We'll have 10 laps remaining this time on by. Ricky Utting kind of making a little bit of a drop off here. Looking to deposit up some speed, deposit up some run. And these guys had just been wearing and tearing these tires and their fuel line out. In the first stage, it was all about who can hang on and who can bolster some momentum up. Now this stage, it's all been about who hangs in there and who makes the mistake and who doesn't. Kramer only separated the gap out by a small margin. He knows he's getting hunted down. He knows there are drivers coming for him. That's what I always hated, honestly, when I'm in that kind of situation. It's just feeling that pressure, feeling that vibe, and then just trying to focus on yourself, trying to remind yourself, hey, wait a minute. I've got my own thoughts to worry about. I've got my own feelings to worry about. I don't need to worry about what's going on with them. A lot of comers and goers this stage. Dario falling way back, about 9 seconds back of Udding here. Hudson as well, Simley and Holyfield. Literally in the same boat, in the same situation. Clamping back down around the track and off the turns here through number turn 2. Alan Wild, Steve Ritter, and Bud Shearer now in progressive zoning and progressive moves. Shearer just looking to hang on, trying to make any kind of move off, trying to make any kind of run. Wild literally feeling that side draft and that little cumbersome spot there from the 93 of Shearer. He drove it right in there. Oh, he had to there. Pressure's on right now. We have got a mere 6 laps left in this stage. And look up front. This is what we were going to wait for. This is what we've been trying to see what would happen. Mano a mano. Dalton versus Kramer for the stage points. Dalton's pretty much made a name for himself this season already, and he's going to do it again. Kramer, you gave it his heart, he gave it his soul. But Dalton just outclassed him again, but it looks like he's not going down without a fight. Look at that big drive off from turn 2. He had a lot of speed burrowed up there. He just ramps it right off to Dalton. Well, they go down low, trying to make the move. Dalton immediately trying to block that run, but using some of the dirty airflow and using his speed to his advantage. And it's successful because he forces Kramer to have to go to pit road. Kramer tried and was unsuccessful. These pit stops are going to be extremely difficult to call. And they're going to be extremely difficult to figure out. Everybody wants a piece of it. Everybody wants to see it. They want to see that elusive championship. They want to see that trophy for the race itself. Just a mere 3 laps remaining. Tyler Dalton, still your race leader. Gapped off, spread out, and thrown in between. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has been able to figure out how to take down the 19 team, the Sim 500 gang. That crew has been just pure dominating. Wetzel making his way up to the front. Looks like he wants to make it a little interesting. He wants to drive out to Dalton here. another lap remaining. Get it across the line, then you let it race it out. Running them down. Wetzel tried. Will not succeed. It's going to be Dalton, your stage winner. Another stage completed. Another stage succeeded. Dalton continues to thrive and continues to shine. Pretty impressive. Credit to Ryan D. Cook, Rake Yachting, and Cameron Dario for really making some moves here and some strides. Just wasn't quite there. Wetzel in pit road first. Dalton gone in already. Shearer and Dario. Simley, Shike going to be the ones in there. Ritter, Sturgill, Crane. That is your field of drivers out in pit road. You can see that farther pit stop there for Shearer. That could make the difference between him and Wetzel. Wetzel getting all 4 tires and fuel, and he's off and into the race now for out of pit road. Shearer trying to hurry. He's lacking out of time, though. That left set tires taking longer on there than he realized. Ron Holyfield deciding to opt to stay out for a little longer, but he goes in on lap 61. So that will set him into the course. Maurice Burnett, Ryan D. Cook, Bobby Wetzel, and Tyler Dalton, the guys to beat. What a story here, my friends. Halfway done with this race. And everybody having a little fun under the sun, while at the same time putting pressure on themselves to make it or break it today. Field is now ready to lock and load here onto the show. Race fans, here we go. Final stage, engaged. Well, to say they were cooped up and ready to fire them back off the start here, that's an understatement. They have now laying into the field. What's up with the early lead? Sure, right now, trying to immediately cave in on track, trying to get some speed going. Oh, crossover, big jump to the lead, and the RBS 93 jumping it right on front into position. Problems down there for Kramer. Kramer has come to a dead stop on the back straightaway. That is the end of the 42. What has happened to Dakota Kramer of all things? Kramer was so good in stage 2, now the mechanical problems do him in. Simley and Cook having a little bit of a tussle right in front of Tyler Dalton. Shearer is your new leader as Wetzel had to try to lay back low. Looking to fire back down off the corners on the back straightaway. Dalton trying to hang on. Simley and Cook moving the chains and grasping the reins. Aaron Action Jackson right in that mix-up too. He's had a season of historic highs and some historic lows. He said earlier, I'm tired of it and I just want to get my season back to normal. I know I have the speed, I know I have the car, I just got to get something figured out. So I'm going to try and get it done today. This whole field of drivers right now just kind of lined up in their position, in their obligated spots, just trying to hope for the momentum to work towards that route. Sun's starting to fade here in Brooklyn. Smooth out the transition here, and again you get to see every driver for themselves and everybody just trying to make a move where they can. Here with a good lead on Bobby Wetzel, but again we saw earlier that it doesn't necessarily mean much in the long-term scope of things if you can't hang on to it. Dalton proved that it's possible and proved it's very difficult, and Kramer got troubled up there. Making a little bit of a run here. The New York Rangers going right up there to Maurice Burnett. The 22 of Alan Wild also having themselves a little bit of a field day. You guys, man, I'm telling you, they don't know when to let off, and they don't give a darn when it takes off. All they care about is making their runs and making their lanes right. Gap starting to form up, and now starting to really show who wants to make the runes quickly and who wants to lay low for now. And again, those that are staying close in the packs, kind of staying close on the marks here, they are well aware of what and where to do. You can see this a lot though. You see a lot of guys just kind of start to separate themselves out. And that's just the fact they're trying to play a strategy out. Again, in racing, it's a long-term game versus long-term loss. It's always about trying to find your right opportunities and trying to figure out when and where is the proper move and the proper time to then start straggling into the top spot. "75 laps now has been fully completed on this stage." Look at Ron Holyfield. Big run coming from the 811 in C811.org machine. Holyfield with a big jump right underneath the nose, right under the spot of Ryan D. Cook. Back around though, it is now a gapped up field. Now it is a turning into a fight out, especially from that leader spot. Wetzel was patient, sure, maybe not so much. New leader. Bobby Wetzel making a good jump around there. Now starting to see the momentum starting to swing towards his favor. Just like the trucks race, we talk about how you have to get going quicker, you get going later, and you really hope for the best. This is the same dilemma. Sure, though, not giving up, but he's already lost a lot of power and lost a lot of speed. Now Tyler Dalton's starting to get his run up there to Shearer, looking to maybe make a run for him there. Coming up right through the gaps now. Sibley starting to make a jump. Shan Shike, Jackson, Udding, they're all in that hunt. They can smell the blood in the water here like a shark on its open. And Shike, Simile, and all of them continuously making their rounds, making their runs into the gaps and into the fields. Everybody just hoping and praying to kind of get around that draft off. As there ain't surprise though, Tyler Dalton has made his way around his teammate in that 9. Wetzel nowhere to go and every which way to clear out from. This is really just putting down to that strategy again. Well, last time though, Dalton tried to strategize. He didn't quite get away with it. Actually, a lot of times this season, these drivers have strategized and things just completely get thrown out. And Shike has now moved in the top 3, and he's moving closer as he goes. Jackson trying to get up there as well. Everybody right now just kind of pinpointing their moves, pinpointing their shots, and it seems like working out quite okay in their favor. That's from the guys up for the race lead or spot, but again, pit stops will need to be made here soon enough. Those that lay low in the back of the pack here, like Philip Schmitz in the 18 and Ryan D. Cook in the 10. I've got a little bit of battling to go on with Ryan, with a little 22 of Alan Wild hanging in there. Coming out 3 wide to the gap, Hudson, Wild, and Crane. Starting to pinpoint up a little bit of speed, trying to get a little bit of drive off in the gaps. Under 40 laps remain, nearing the 30 lap marker, and again, that is when we'll start seeing pit stops be a little bit more frequent. Pressure is on. And not only is that pressure on, but everything else is working so closer to really making such a difficult position here. Climbing it back onto the window and onto the purchase here. Again, everyone trying to hunt down the man that is the big bad 19. Bobby Wetzel, Charles Van Schaik, all right in that line. Wetzel has yet to claim one this season. Van Schaik's got 2 to his name, and he's one of the only 2 drivers to be in victory lane in trucks and cup, at least on the PTM TV side of things. The other one, well, he's the guy leading it right now, Tyler Dalton. He won the truck race at Daytona, or excuse me, he won the Next Gen Cup race at Daytona. He lost the truck race, but then won the truck race next week in that next race. And since then, it's just been an absolute dominant and bit of a terrifying performance maker here. Bit of a terrorizer is the word I was looking for. In terms of what these guys were trying to hang on to and what they're trying to fight up against. Weeble wobble, jumping around, throwing them back, throwing them off. Van Schaik trying to get Wetzel off him and trying at the same time put dirty airflow around that car. Scott Simley with a better drive on the outside. Nice move off as the 9 of Wetzel with no room for error. Can't quite keep it with him. Well, they've got 30 laps officially left to go. Time running out, and Tyler Dalton, I think, maybe starting to feel just a little bit of pressure. You see the gaps. That's the difference maker between him and Schaik. I'm interested to see what lap number 91 will look like here. Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a pretty easy gain there. Look at this, down the inside. Schaik, for the first time today, going to try to challenge Dalton for the race lead, and successfully he will get there. Big bump draft there from Simley. Pushes the 23 right up ahead. And now we have ourselves a new leader. Charles Van Schaik, your race leader, coming through on lap 91. Cleared the gap on lap 90, then brings it home on 91. Now, only a mere 29 laps remain. Pressure's on here. And Bobby Wetzel, he's getting low. He's going lower. He's going to pit road. It's time for the pit stops. Cody Sturgill's in there already. Van Schaik and Simley and Dalton probably looking at when and where to go in. If I'm looking at the overall picture too, I'd probably say it may be getting closer to having to stack up and rack up the field here. Bring it right in now. Simley, Dalton, Udding, Jackson, Shearer, Ritter, and Hudson. That is going to be our field. Van Schaik stays out. We're going to focus in on these guys here and see which one breaks it out first and go from there. And Simley, Dalton, Udding, Holyfield, Wetzel, Ritter, and Shearer on the verge and on the march. Wetzel already, though, trying to get back into that race lead. Van Schaik's in pit road now. Light sides on. Will he go for the lefts? He's got company coming his way. gonna try to hurry, trying to get that SpongeBob crew working all fours. Van Schaik is coming out. Can Simley catch him? Coming off, Simley did get a deed around him. Dalton, Wetzel, and all them much the same. But an extra lap set of tires. Well, let's just say that could be the difference maker. .25 laps left. This is now a strategy-based position. Simley and Dalton battling hard, trying to draft off one another, keep everybody behind. Field now closing down. Wetzel feeling the pressure from Schaik. That pressure lap set of tires there from Wetzel. Not quite going to be able to, or excuse me, from Schaik, not going to be able to hold off. Wetzel falls back. Now the time gap starting to shrink. Dalton and Simley know what's coming. And they know who is coming for them. They both will have to work together to try to keep themselves in check here. Ritter and Shearer also dealing with each other a little bit here on the rest of the half. Down to nearly the final 20 laps here, 21 left to go. Rockox says Edding Betty Blue is lurking on his home track. He certainly is, and he's looking pretty good here for a top 5 finish, as long as he stays controlled here. You got that Pepsi Cola Chevrolet Camaro working extremely hard and extremely well. Take a look at our gap line here, and this is what the gap is looking to be with 20 laps remaining. Yeah, that's another gap there, change, and another build up there. Schaik has got something coming. gaps that just continue to grow, and they'll continue to get faster and faster. And again, as well, that fuel mileage wise, it should be pretty much set to go. They should be okay to finish this out. But man, the drive and the position these drivers have been facing all day long, and everything else in between. You can see the gaps really formationing, forming out. Ryan D. Cook out of the race. Problems down there in the number 10. There's problems down there for Dakota Kramer. And Christoph Hall, major issues in the 19 as well, costing him dearly. Finished well back in the pack. This field of guys right now have just found more ways than one for a crash course. And Sibley now immediately trying to jump it right back in there through the field. Dalton is trying to keep distance away from Simley and trying to keep further distance away from Shaggy. He knows what's coming for him and what's going after him. This is getting interesting, folks. And now a full second separating out the leaders from the guy with the lap pressure set of tires. And the one that took the lead away from them earlier, about 14 laps now separating the gaps. Separating what could be a very strong case to be had. Schmitz and Hudson trying to remain in the top 10. Crane looking to also set up with their top 10. Jackson troubles earlier. With troubles later, just can't seem to catch a break. It doesn't seem like he does anything wrong. It just seems like the more he gets on the track, it's almost as if the equipment just fails him. I mean, I know iRating wise, like he's in that top half, he's in that upper crust. He should be top 5 in a lot more often than he is. But I think honestly, he may just found some of the drivers to be a little bit too difficult to even take on in some cases. I mean, Dalton and Simley, they're in 6,000, 4,000 range. Charles is in 4,000 range. Wetzel is only about 2,500 range, but he is extremely conservative and very smart out there. Udding's about a 4,000 range, and that's your top 5. Everyone else is in the 2,000s to 1,000s. And Jackson's a 3,000. So again, that's why I say he should be in that top 5. But yeah, he's nowhere near it right now, and here we go. This is what we were waiting for. Keep a close eye on that top 5 screen for us here. Simley has fought valiantly. He has fought so hard to get to Dalton. He's tried so many options, but now he finds himself in an absolutely troublesome situation. Shike just drafting off. drafting hard and drafting quick. Everybody, man, they will not let up. Coming right out there. Look at Simley, though. He was feeling the pressure, and now he's going to really put the pressure up. Deja vu. Las Vegas Motor Speedway all over again. And these two are not going to let it up. And Simley with the advantage. He jumps it right ahead and made everything work in his favor. Coming right around, Van Schaik, look at this. He's got that SpongeBob scheme now, starting to put Tyler Dalton under the sea with a pineapple and bee. Trying to get it right in. Almost 3 wides it there with Simley as he had a little bit of momentum kicking up. These guys aren't giving up. Look at Schaik trying to cut it again. He's trying to get underneath him. He's fighting, he's scratching, and he's clawing. Every single driver right now has got the picture. They know what's at stake and they know what's on the line. These three putting on a show. Trouble down there for Richard Crane right now. Looks like he'll get it back on the track and looks like he will go to the pits, so that will be the end of his day. Had a top 10 in store, and Crane now unfortunately cost himself, but the drivers remain green. Dalton trying so hard right now to hang on. He did so good in the first 2 stages, but this final stage yet again is giving him so much bits and so much trouble. Could these stage racing effects be affecting how Dalton takes every track and how he races every position? I've always said before, stage racing can be a master class of trouble, and it can be a master class of knowing how to perfect a run. And I think Van Schaik, in my opinion, has figured out how to do it. But Simley will not let him get there too quickly. There are 6 laps left. Schaik is literally giving every inch of his body and well-being to get underneath that 7 and get the pass done. But he knows as soon as he does that, Dalton will make a run off it too. Simley dropping it in, back to the draft. Now Dalton moving ahead. Is Schaik possibly playing possum? Is he trying to draft it off? Oh, yes, he is. He's trying to draft it off. I didn't know there was any draft lab. Wild. Uh-oh. Just stay up there, kid. Stay up there, sir. Oh, my. Dalton almost got thrown into the binders and thrown into a bad spot. And he knew it, too. But he got out of it. And that might have slowed him up just enough for Simley to kind of catch his breath. He's going to need to catch something here at this point because he is trying to hang on, trying to work through his momentum. Coming right off the clutches and right off the speed. Van Schaik, Dalton, and Simley have not let up. Down to only 3 laps to go now. Shike is just trying so hard. Dalton is really fighting him every lap, every corner. This M500 camp does not want to give an inch. Simply trying to hang on. Dalton thinks at this point he might be out of it, so I think he's just trying to help. Simply stay in control. Or maybe he's trying to help himself too and just trying to find another opening, trying to find another line. But simply every time he does get him another line, he just ends up driving back down low and kind of hurting both their drafts. Shike is just playing extremely good runs here, or he's playing extremely good possum without any gain. If he is playing possum and Simley is right now knowing he's doing it, that is going to really affect him on that last lap. 2 to go this time by. Green flag in the air, white flag out next time around. Shike driving up deep. He got a run there. Good runoff. Good runoff, and now a final leg to this race. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is your white flag lap. Dalton looking on. Knows he's in for a run. Shike trying to go back-to-back weeks in Michigan with a victory. Launching it down. Here's the draft. Here's the speed. Here's the turn. Can he get him underneath it? Oh, no, he will not there. First set to Simley. Now to the final set. Dalton blocking Shike's run. That's not where he wanted to be. Shike's in trouble. Shike trying to hold it down, get it one more run up, but Simley, a good block and a good run. Executed flawlessly to the finish line. It's going to be Scott Simley holding it down to the win. What a race. What a race. Long distance run and a lot of fighting and driving, just trying to hang on to the other, and that dirty airflow did cost a little bit on Shike's end as much as it did Dalton to get around that 7 of Scott Simley, but man, did he put on a fight and put on a show. What a performance and what a drive from everybody today. What a run, man. This was some great action, some great heavy artillery and duty and making machinery here. Nobody was left unscathed from this. Simley, I think he's going to do a via Alan Kowicki out there. He's going to give a Polish lap. He wants to wave to the fans out there. They're hearing you there, Simley, and we're hearing you as well, sir. A Polish lap in honor of a driver we lost too soon. Here is your finishing results presented by Global Strategy Team out here today. This is going to be Simley's day. Dalton going second. Shike drives it to third. 14 up today. Ricky Edding goes fourth. Bobby Wetzel in our top 5. Shearer goes 6, 7 to Ritter, 8th to Hudson, 9th to Schmitz, Jackson top 10. Christoph Hall on the very bottom edge of the channel here. So that is how we will play it out here, as we'll see them go around for a little time around. It's time to listen to your top 3 drivers here in this one. This should be interesting to hear. First up on the lineup here is the man that was last time in victory lane here, but in the trucks, now in the cup. He goes to our podium today. Charles Van Schijk, congratulations on that here today, sir. But talk about that last couple laps, sir. I mean, you caught the leaders, you went for broke, and you just couldn't quite get it around Simley. He just seemed to throw everything at you, including the kitchen sink.
Yeah, it's if I had to pass them individually, I would have had no problem doing it the way I was able to dive down there and come off. It's just, especially here, any type of draft that Tyler was getting off of Scott, if I wasn't clear to come up, I was going from second to third, maybe even getting the first deep into the corner, but then they were just getting the run on the outside. It's very difficult to pass on the bottom at Michigan when you're the only one down there. But man, I gave everything. It was clean racing. There's probably a couple times I could have fly jobbed them, but you know what? The way we were racing, the way they were racing me clean, I didn't think some of those. I did it once, but I was way clear. There was a couple other times I probably could have done it, but uh, the way we were racing, anything other than the way it just finished would have been a disservice to everyone and all the people driving tonight if there was a caution because of that. So
I was about to ask about that too. I mean, we had quite a few weeks where it was a little bit on the yellow side. Things weren't quite appearing to be as long run. This one was absolute long run supremacy. I mean that. I mean, for you and this team, this crew, I mean, does that kind of show like how farther the drivers seem to be maturing and how the tracks seem to be getting a little easier to really kind of cover some and figure out?
I mean, it's when we decided season one we had a different league in here and you know, just never really gelled. Every race we race with these guys, you're getting familiar with what they do. I'm getting familiar with what Tyler does and Scott does, and the Steve and Joe and the rest of the guys. So basically, it's getting better because of familiarity. I know. If I give Tyler the outside, he's gonna go. Or if the one time I did come up, I know he's gonna check up and then look under. So it's more control, and it's more like I said, it's just everyone getting used to each other. And like I said, tonight's race was fun, and obviously these type of races where it goes green benefits me because I'm more of a strategy guy. Restarts, I'm horrible. So if we get a green white check, I probably would have finished like eighth or ninth because that's how bad I am on restarts. So long runs are definitely benefit me.
Certainly the case indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, I mean, Charles, once more, as you come away today with another podium, who do you want to thank here in Michigan, sir?
Uh, thank PTM and you to put on a great broadcast as always tonight and Tuesdays, putting up with our shenanigans. Um, obviously the admins that were here tonight and all the admins of the Goat Racing League. My teammates Ricky, uh, Aaron, John, and Ron, um, and then Bud and Cam were in there. We were kind of made a makeshift team. MDR Designs, who do us all my paint schemes, and then obviously Global Strategy Team, who's the title sponsor, a good friend at work. So other than that, and then the drivers, it was a good race. I'm sure the broadcast looked great. So
I'll let you just cite that as always, sir. But I'd say on our end, it was a lot of fun to call as always. Appreciate you guys having us come on board, and congratulations for bringing this one on for a third place today, sir.
appreciate it, man.
Charles Van Schaik, ladies and gentlemen, going top three yet again. Well, picking up another podium here, of course, as well, will be another driver of the lineups here. Tyler Dalton going in second place today. And Tyler, congratulations on that. And really, like Van Schaik said, like it was a one-on-one affair, and then it ended up becoming 3-on-1, and it just became such a hard little area to pass. What was your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I knew that we were in trouble when we had to pit one lap before Charles did. I was sort of was a curse to be out there leading that first part of that stage. So we had to pit one lap sooner. So Charles came out like 1.8 seconds behind us with one lap newer tires. And newer tires, I don't care how far behind you come out, it just means everything in these cars. So I had one bad corner right as Charles was getting close to us, and because I was watching to see how far Charles was back, and I didn't think Scott was going to make a move yet, and he got to my outside going into one, and I knew at that point I could race Scott really hard, but that was probably going to let Charles get us both. So sort of just fell in line there, and at that point I was almost pretty much just Scott's wingman. I knew Charles had the one lap newer tires, and Scott had helped me make some passes early on in the race to get by some guys, and we've always raced well together, raced a long time. So if it came down to who I had to choose to help there, it was going to be Scott. So I'm glad he got the win. I'm sure Charles felt a little bit ganged up on, but still came back and got second there at the line. So we'll take it. Got us another pole, 1-2 stages, got us some more playoff points. So I'm pretty happy with the way the race turned out.
Way the race turned out, indeed. Now I know There's been a lot of work into this car and the work into this car here. I mean, with the way these stage points and the way these couple wins you've got to your name, as well as more to come down the road. I mean, how precious and important is it going to be from here on out to just kind of keep these podiums up for you and this team?
Yeah, well, like I said, we're already got the wins, so already locked into the playoffs. So we just need to focus on getting playoff points at this point to get more of those stage wins and race wins. So we didn't get the race win tonight, but we still picked up two of the stage wins. So two playoff points, so that'll come in handy for the chase, and we'll go get them coming up Tuesday.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, here, Dalton, anybody else want to thank her for this one?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the 7500 Mafia. Me and Bobby had a really good run going there. Unfortunately, he had to pit a lap sooner, and like I said, tires mean everything. But Joe and Ron also had good runs. Overall, I had a pretty good race. I want to thank NT811.org, really good sponsor of ours. I want to thank you for putting on the broadcast. And I want just thank, well, what, never mind. I was trying to think of somebody else to thank, but that's all.
I mean, the best thing about it is, Dalton, I think we'll be seeing you back here plenty of times. So, I mean, you got plenty of time to think about whatever else you want to add in there, sir.
Oh, global strategy team. That's what I was trying to think of. Slipped my mind. I want to thank them. So I appreciate the time, and I'll see you Tuesday.
For sure there. Dalton, man, great to have you back on board and hear from you in the podium. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Tyler Dalton, ladies and gentlemen, going to bring home another podium, but this guy, he's going to bring home another win. Again, Scott Simley, win number 2 in the Cup Series. And my, sir, did you catch some breaks? And boy, did you have a hungry nest of drivers behind you trying to take you down constantly in this final stage.
Yeah, it was a battle out there. A few different things going on, especially with the fuel there at the end of that second stage. As hard as those guys were running up front, I'm like, I thought we had to stop for fuel. I wasn't sure it was that close, and then once I started running, I'm like, I don't want to stop for a splash even, because to me it wasn't worth it. And then part of me was thinking, well, maybe I should stay on these old tires at the beginning of the second stage and then maybe run 5, 10, 15 laps and then go and change them and make use of the tires, since we have to stop for the stage anyway. But it was close enough where I thought, no, I'm gonna just run it out and save enough to make it. But man, how those guys made it. But I saved enough because I knew that you got to complete 60 and we had to make it back around to pit. And I was able to do that, but I think those guys up front, they took the penalty and pitted, which I don't know what truly the penalty is, because you gotta pit road isn't open. But yeah, they made it work out. But so that was a little interesting at the end of that second stage. But yeah, quite the battle. Towards the end of that race there, I was trying to save it at the end of that last run, or the beginning of the last run of that stop, and Tyler caught me pretty quick, but I was trying to save, and I didn't expect him to get that much of a run on me. And I thought, so I wanted to get that fresh air because it means a lot. And I lost it, stayed with him, and I saw Charles coming there, and I knew he had a lot fresher tires, and that's big too. Not only that, he was in pretty fresh air, which is again big. So he gained us down, and I got enough of a run on Tyler to where I thought, I didn't like the bot. It's really tough to pass on the bottom. So I made kind of a last ditch move and was able to sneak in on the outside and get by him, and kind of played the draft at bay game with those two, and was able to keep him back there. And I think a little bit that the lap down car, the car that we were catching, going to be a lap down, helped a little bit on me because I was just enough to sniff a little draft on him to help me a little bit too while those guys were racing. So, but a lot of fun.
A lot of fun indeed, and fun to call as well. I mean, with the amount of pressure and amount of momentum you saw behind you too, I mean, really, did you kind of just in hindsight just think, if I just keep them in one place and in one area, maybe I can keep them back behind me the whole time?
Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, the draft is there, and not only that, it's the side draft. I mean, you can suck up to somebody's fender, and you can gain on them, but you can also slow each other down too. So it's kind of looking in my mirror, just trying to give each other the draft, depending on who needed more or not, just to try to keep those guys even. That was kind of my goal.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, though, Simley, man, you're going to bring home another win today, and this is win number 2, so who do you want to thank you for that?
Sem 500 in the Goat Racing League Global Strategy, coming on board with them. PTM Racing, you guys in the broadcast. It's fun to go back and look at them. And all these guys that show up to race. I know there's a lot of things going on the weekend too that not everybody can make it, but yeah, just a good group of guys. Able to get a lot of green flag laps in, and racing, just racing these guys is a lot of fun, and hopefully it puts on a good show for everybody. Tyler and Charles, that was a good battle. To the end of that race, so just a lot of fun.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Simley, congratulations on winning this one out here, sir. Thanks so much for your time out there, and we'll see you next time out, sir.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Scott Simley gets 2 wins in this season to cap it off today in Michigan. A big thank you to our friends at Global Strategy Team as well as Jack Racing's Collectibles. Be sure to visit them up. Also, it's Tune In Tuesday. We've got the Truck Series in action. We can't wait to see you guys then. Tomorrow night, 2 races remain at Battle of the Racing League. Nashville Super Speedway is up next. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.